It's This Week in Bourbon, and who would win, 100 humans or a gorilla? And here's your headlines for May 9th, 2025. E.H. Taylor is now coming to the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Pursuit Spirits releases 4 new expressions plus some new packaging. And Heaven Hill releases a new grain to glass and Old Fitz decanters. So before we get started, here's a quick word from our partners. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is This Week in Bourbon, post-Derby week. Hope we had a good time. But Ryan, who would win in a fight? 100 humans or a gorilla?
100 humans.
You think 100 humans?
I mean, are we talking without weapons or?
No, this is all fist.
All fist.
And we're talking not just like a gorilla, like the silverback, the patriarch, the guy that takes care of
King Kong?
Yes.
Still go with 100 humans.
Yeah, I think 100 humans is.
Yeah.
So apparently this has been floating around on TikTok and social media to say, would this work? But I also was looking up, apparently there's also a game called 100 Humans or Gorillas, like a video game. So maybe that's where it came from too.
I never remember that one. Is that on same like Oregon Trail or something?
You can't die of dysentery.
You play it at, in elementary school on your old Apple, whatever.
Yeah.
DOS setup.
Well, because they were the big white box.
Yeah.
Apple Mac. They're called Macintosh back in the day.
Yeah, the floppy disk and everything.
Because it was an actual floppy.
Yeah,
like
not the hard disk.
Yeah,
floppy.
you could bend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Now I like these would you rather games or what would happen. Maybe we'll do that for season 2026.
We'll do 8 Pursuit employees versus Kenny. See who wins.
I need to probably start training then because I'm starting to, we go downtown all the time and I'm going up and downstairs to try and show everybody floors. By the time I get to the 3rd floor, I'm kind of like, whew, I'm getting a little winded here.
It's a lot of stairs. Can't wait for that elevator.
I know. I feel really bad because I'm not out of shape by any means, but I'm not in the best shape in my life. So when I take my parents there and I'm going like, hey, let's go see the 4th floor.
They're like, yeah,
we're not going to make it.
Yeah, 1st floor looks good.
This is fantastic. Well, Derby is over. We had a decent time. I think you could say nobody won. We did.
I mean, I had a great time. It's just, I didn't win anything, so I don't let that determine my outcome. But yeah, I think I was like 3 for 25 all week. But everyone you talk to, it's fascinating. Like everybody you talk to had the same experience. So I don't know. Had a great time, but they lost money.
I know.
So Churchill always wins. It's
the unfortunate part because even on Derby Day, it was all the favorites that won pretty much every single race.
Yep.
And this goes back to, my father, he gives some wise words. And, he always said do 5 on 5 in the 5th. Unfortunately, on this one, horse 5 scratched, so he couldn't do that.
Yeah, on Wednesday it did.
Yeah, but he always did tell me, though, he said, if you just bet $20 on the favorite for every race, you're bound to probably leave with your money up. You're not going to make big money, but you're not going to lose. But you're not going to lose.
Yeah, but that's no fun.
There's no fun in that. I agree. And you probably would have spent a couple $100 and left with $50 more, and it wouldn't have been worth it.
I like risking 12 for a 3-horse try and cashing in for 1,200. It very rarely happens.
It doesn't happen.
Those times it do, it's magical.
You're just like, man, we did it.
I'm so smart.
All right, so let's talk about some other things. I will mention that we are going to be having we're going to be sponsoring the 3rd annual Bonsai Weekend here in Louisville. That's May 30th through June 1st. You can get tickets at bonsaiweekend.com. So Pursuit Spirits will be a part of that. If you're interested in doing more stuff with on the Pursuit Spirits side, let us know. Hit us up. You want to do a virtual Q&A, virtual tasting, everything like that? We've got some other team members here that are willing to step in and help be the extension of Ryan and I. So if you want more people to be able to lead those things and get more pursuit in your circles, whiskey societies, whatever it is, send us an email. info@pursuitspirits.com or Ryan@pursuitspirits.com.
Sales at
pursuitspirits.com.
Accounting. They all go to the same place.
Payments, yeah.
Yes.
It's, we try to make ourselves look bigger than we are.
That's right.
Puff up our chest a little bit. We have some events that are happening as well. So this weekend, if you're happen to be in the Owensboro area, Barbecue and Barrels is taking place. Pursuit's going to be a sponsor there. And then you start I think it's like every weekend it's 2 weeks. So the 17th is Whiskey Riot in San Antonio, and the 24th is Whiskey Riot in Fort Worth, Texas.
Nice. They just had the Houston one, didn't they? Was that the most recent one or Dallas? I don't know.
I can't remember. Well, Fort Worth is Dallas.
It
so
is, that's for
you're
sure.
you're going to be there pretty soon.
Yeah. I heard those whiskey riots are awesome.
It's a riot.
It is.
Godly, you
is a
set me
riot.
up for it. You set me up.
Da-da-tsh.
Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. So one thing I want to kind of bring up, last roundtable, we had talked about the 8-year 101
Mm-hmm.
and how it's going to come back and stuff like that. And we were talking about, what was the origin? Why did it go away? Why is it coming back? And I want to give a shout out to Chris Middleton. He wrote me a very good, extensive email on some of his thoughts because he actually did some research on this that he did as a project for Campari on Wild Turkey back in 2012. You ready to hear some of this?
Yeah. All
right,
Like
so-
right when bourbon was peaking.
I
Not
know.
peaking, but booming.
It's peaking. Let's go. He said, my research indicates that the 8-year-old age statement likely ceased when bottling was moved from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky to Lawrenceburg, Indiana around 2002. I had no idea that they were bottling in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So that was news to me. He said,
Pernod owned MGP and Wild Turkey.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It definitely goes into this, so you're totally right. So the answer to when and why age statements disappeared is found in changing of the corporate behaviors affected during reductions in production, shrinking inventory, and COGS savings during bottling as the U.S. whiskey industry continued to endure its 30-year whiskey recession. So if Wild Turkey output was roughly calibrated to the total of U.S. whiskey production, in 1993 and 1994, production to decision of impacting the release that actually released of 101 in 2002 were the years of one of its lowest EBBS, not too sure what that means, but 59 million proof gallons. So only in 1987 and 1988 were actually lower than that from the peak production that happened in 1970, which was around 160 million gallons. So by 2003, the total whiskey category had fallen 27.5% of total spirits consumption, whereas in 1995, it was around 34.5%. In 2003, straight whiskey held only 8.4% of total spirits, and Wild Turkey's U.S. market share of the straight U.S. segment was 3.8%, and that was under Pernod Ricard management, which is when Wild Turkey struggled. So, if that was too much jibber jabber and gobbledygook to put together there, basically said that the years of 93 and 94, the production was so low that they didn't have enough stock to be able to even bring back an 8-year age statement.
And so they didn't produce enough in advance. Got it.
And so now they're finally getting to the point where they do have that stock.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you gotten to try the 8-year yet?
No, I haven't. So maybe we'll see it on the shelves
I'm sure we will.
at some point. I'm sure somebody around here that's going to come through these doors, maybe if you're listening, bring us a small sample of it. We'd love to be able to try it, see what's going on.
See what that 2 extra years does.
See, big old change.
That's right.
Big changes coming. Well, there's other things that are happening too. So let's go ahead and dive in with some more of the whiskey news here. So if you happen to be in the Frankfort, Kentucky area, there's going to be a new special public screening of a documentary, I think it's what it is. Let's talk about it here a little bit. It's called Frankfort, Kentucky, The Heart of Bourbon. And this is happening on Friday, June 13th at the Foundry on Broadway, which is in downtown Frankfort. Oh, there it is. It's a documentary film celebrating Frankfort's central role in bourbon history, highlighting iconic distilleries such as Old Taylor, Old Crow, and OFC, while weaving in the stories of community members and local historians. The event is free to attend and serves as the official kickoff to both Bourbon Weekend and the Downtown Summer Concert Series.
Taking on Bardstown. I
Yes,
like it.
they are. They're
Yeah,
like,
they are.
we're going to
Pound
stake
in our
our claim.
chest.
At what point does every city in Kentucky be like,
Become the capital of the world.
we were, yeah, it was like you have the bourbon capital, Louisville's the epicenter. You've got some moons that are like floating outside of it, maybe that like help the gravitational pull within the two major areas.
Yeah. You got, Frankfort, I tie in like Lawrenceburg and Frankfort kind of, because they're not too terribly far from each other.
Sorry, in our mind, you all get lumped together.
That's right.
That's just part of what we think of you, Lawrenceburg and Frankfort.
But very important to the category as a whole. A lot of big distilleries still around that, started this. So yeah, I'm interested to see the documentary. I'm still a Bardstown fanboy, of course, but
Oh yeah,
Well,
I'm a Louisville fan.
I'll give Frankfort its due.
There you go. And then at some point, Lexington's going to be like, hold on now, we got something to say about this.
Yep.
And then you've already got the B line in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky area. So everybody's trying to stake their claim.
You get a documentary. No, you get one.
Everybody gets a documentary. Heck, we even had one on us with
That's
Whiskey
true.
Land.
Yep.
So at this point, everybody does have a documentary if we had something on us. All right, so Camp Runamok, they are back for its 14th year, hosting bar professionals from across the country for 2 immersive weeks of bourbon education, community building, and Kentucky hospitality. And this 25 season will be held at Camp Crescendo, and this is in Lebanon Junction, with Session 1 launching May 17th and Session 2 on June 21st. It's set in the heart of bourbon country, and Camp Runamok invites bartenders into the world of American whiskey, not just to taste, but to understand its source. This program blends distillery visits, expert-led classes, and old-fashioned camp fun to create transformative experience that connects people, deepens knowledge, and strengthens the hospitality community.
And we did a whole entire episode.
The whole damn thing. We learned about it.
Yeah. Sounds like an awesome week. Wish I had time to
Sounds
do
kind of like a party, to be honest with you.
It does.
I would go.
I would. Better than being here with you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I had a few drinks yesterday, and actually, because we selected a barrel at
Angel's Envy, yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't even drink that much. And then by the time like 7 o'clock rolls around, I got a headache. I'm going, what's going on? I'm truly getting old.
You're like, I'm ready for bed.
it's like 8:30. Oh, let's go ahead and put on the PJs.
Yep.
Some nice
I was coaching
ones.
baseball at that time. Yeah. Much rather been in bed.
Because, what? How old's your son? He's
9.
9. Yeah. So it's at the stage where it's brutal to watch, especially at kid pitch.
It is. It's tough. A lot of walks.
Yeah.
few hits sprinkled in. And then when they get a hit, all the infielders and outfielders are asleep because they're like, we just saw 4 walks in a row.
They have
We're
no
just going to pick dandelions or something.
It's like you got to be in your ready stance, right? Glove on the ground, squatted,
Yep.
ready
Triangle.
for anything, and then ball. It's like, okay,
Expect
stand
the
up.
ball. That's all I say. Expect the ball.
Expect it. And then they're like, it doesn't happen. You're like, I get it. All right, Lost Lantern, they're announcing Lost Lantern Discovery Club. It's a subscription-based monthly whiskey club designed to help elevate whiskey lovers to discover emerging stars and hidden gems in American whiskey. And every month, the Discovery Club will have new, never-before-released Lost Lantern bottles from rising star or lesser-known distilleries. Let's see, the monthly membership is $90 plus shipping, and releases are exclusively available to members, and you get behind-the-scenes stories, insights into the featured distilleries, and it's limited to a maximum of 180 people.
Yeah. It's exciting. I like the Lost Lantern stuff. They have, some are like, okay, that's way crafty, but some are like really interesting and really good. So it's fun if you're in that exploratory mode, trying to find interesting, unique flavors from craft distilleries. I think they do a fantastic job of bringing that to consumers. Yeah.
It's curated. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
They did what we thought we were going to do with Pursuit series.
Totally. And then for some reason, a lot of craft distilleries said no to us at the time. But now they're saying
now
yes.
they're like, wait a minute. I guess we might need something like this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those early days, those jerks, those people that said that
We saw something.
Yeah, we saw something in you. And then, I mean, I won't say the name. The one that really chaps my ass still is we tried to get a rye, and they were going to charge us $10,000 for the barrel. And we were like, that we can't sell that. And they're like, well, that's what we would sell it for if we were to sell it bottle by bottle out of the gift shop. I'm like, well, no shit, right? That's not what we're doing here, right? We're trying to help bring your brand to our audience as well.
And you're not bottling it. We would bottle it.
Yeah. They just didn't get it.
They didn't.
And that's when we realized, like, I can't believe we're going to have to have this conversation how many times with people to get it across? There's no way this business model will work.
Nope. So we moved on.
We moved on. But Lost Lantern, they didn't. And so they've got some good stuff. Go reach out to them.
Get their club.
Yep. All right. Well, I would say another one bites the dust, but it's not settled yet. Devil's River Whiskey has been around since 2017, and they started in San Antonio, Texas, but now they're in 36 states and 5 different countries. And according to a report from The Street, Devil's River Distillery and an affiliate has now filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy to protect their reorganize the business, and continue operating. So,
yeah, I've never had a Devil River product in my life, but I always saw them in the Southwest magazines when they used to have magazines when you fly. They always had like 2 or 3 page ads entire, and I was like, Devil's River,
They must be doing great.
I must be doing great.
Well, they had some celebrity that joined them, Bautista, something, I don't know what it was. So anyway, they had some sort of celebrity endorsement. I saw Wade Woodard post something. It was like, they were trying to, typical They
craft
did
distillery,
well, they did their thing back in 2018, 2011. I don't
Yeah.
know, but Wade was all over that. Go ahead, tell people.
Well, just saying like, you're repackaging MGP and saying it's like Texas whiskey and it's proof down with
At the actual
Devil's River water.
And they're like, wait a minute,
it's reverse
not.
osmosis. So
Yeah.
this and that. So anyways,
he saw right through him.
but you hate to hear about anyone closing. So it's they're not closing. They're filing bankruptcy.
Just trying to figure out how to get their accounts receivable in.
Yeah, I know the pain.
Yeah, we do. We got over 6 figures sitting in account receivables, and we're like, we'd like to not shut our doors if you all could pay us on time.
Exactly.
That'd be really nice. Talking to you, some of the distributors out there that we won't name, but the ones that do pay, we do love you. We appreciate it. It really helps us. Well, this was the big news this week. And if you were hiding under a rock, you probably didn't see the Vine Pair articles and everybody jumping on and creating reels and TikToks going, breaking news, that Buffalo Trace has confirmed that E.H. Taylor will be joining the annual lineup of the 2025 Buffalo Trace Antique Collection.
Saw this news.
It was very smart of Buffalo Trace. You know what they did? They knew it was going to come on Coming Whiskey. So they got ahead of it. They reached out to, you could call it a premier online outlet, Food and Wine Magazine, and said, hey, we're going to give you the scoop so you can break the news before it hits
Coming
TTB,
Whiskey.
and then everybody finds about it from the underground.
Yeah, but it's just like, well, obviously what you see on TTB is just placeholders and proof, but it's just another 100 proof. I'm assuming higher age.
It has to be.
Like E.H. Taylor, but I'm like, but they do a one-off kind of release every year of E.H. Taylor. And so I'm like, I guess they're just tying that into the BTAC collection now.
Well, it's just Buffalo Trace Mash Bill number 1.
Well, I know, but
this would just be Stag at 100 proof at a higher age.
But you had like Cured Oak, Seasoned Wood.
Oh, yeah. Those were
Marriage,
experience, or like experiments. I agree.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that more.
I did too. So are they just...
What, are you going to put it in a tube?
It's got to come in a tube.
If it doesn't come in a tube, is it even really
Doesn't count.
a Colonel EH anymore?
No. But I don't know. I'm sure people are excited. I thought doing like an Elmer, something would be cool on the
You don't really hear of Elmer at all anymore, do you?
No, not really. But I was a fan of Elmer's, but I thought that would be a cool like cash strength version of Elmer's older age, this and that, to add to the antique collection.
I'm sure they thought about this.
They have.
They did something.
They don't care what we think.
They don't care what we think. But I guess, I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I don't know if the idea is like, oh, we'll add more to it, therefore consumers will have more chances to find stuff, and that's probably not going to happen. I also do agree with you that because Cured Oak, probably one of the best releases ever.
So good.
Ever. Then you had Seasoned Wood, Sour Mash. Tornado is really good. But you can't call it if that is part of the BTAC collection. You can't be like, oh, this is whatever experiment. It just is what it is at 100 proof. And it's probably just going to be higher age.
Yeah. I mean, because Cured Oak was like 17-year whiskey. I think some of it was in, that Cured Oak barrel, whatever that means.
We don't even know what it is anymore.
I don't know whether that's different Seasoned Oak, but whatever. Buffalo Trace's marketing geniuses, I'm sure they'll have some, and people will go gaga over it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they essentially bottled like Stag into these old Prohibition bottles and sell for thousands of dollars.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, gotta love you.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was the bourbon news. You know what happens next? It's bourbon release news time.
That's what I thought.
Stick around. All right, we're back. It's bourbon release news time. And the first one, it's all about us. And it's because we've spent a long time with this. I'm like super excited.
18 months.
18 months of being able to talk about this. And I'm sure you're going to hear us. Maybe this is not the last time, but it's certainly one of the second to last times you're going to hear us talk about this, is that Pursuit Spirits is introducing 2 distinct new proof points an accessible 88 proof, and a robust barrel proof for its popular Pursuit United Bourbon and Pursuit United Rye whiskeys. This launch is also complemented by a comprehensive packaging refresh featuring a distinctive custom bottle and updated labels across the entire Pursuit United line, designed to enhance shelf presence and clarify product identity. Pursuit United Bourbon and Pursuit United Rye are available at suggested retail prices of $39.99. And don't worry, that infamous 108 is not going anywhere and is denoted with a new Circle 108 on the label to signify its elevated expression. And then Pursuit United Barrel Proof Bourbon will have its first release at 119.8 proof, and Barrel Proof Rye will be 121.2. Each of these has an SRP of $79.99. Coinciding with the launch of this new expression is a whole new complete packaging redesign across its entire Pursuit United portfolio. The updated labels have been designed for enhanced clarity and to better communicate the unique characteristics of each whiskey. Pursuit United Bourbon and Rye labels will now prominently feature the words Triple Mash Bourbon and Triple Mash Rye, highlighting the distinctive blending process involving 3 different mash bills that define these core products.
So proud of these guys.
I'm proud of you.
No, I'm proud of you.
Let's just shower each other with compliments.
I know. Yeah, it's been a long time. A lot of just design back and forth, tweaks here and there, this and that. Blending. Consumer feedback. A lot of different blending. A lot of trying to find what barrels taste best at 88, what best barrels taste best at 88 or 108, and then cask strength. And so it's been a lot of fun, a lot of challenges, but I'm very relieved and excited to finally launch this. This has been a long time coming, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. So hopefully whiskey fans will appreciate the new packaging and the liquid inside, because we worked really hard on this. And I think it really encapsulates everything we're doing here as a company, and hopefully it translates in the packaging as well. So,
you know what we forgot to do before we started recording? Put the new bottles in our background here. We got all the old bottles here. We should have... Oh, man. Advertising gone wrong. All right. So next week, you will see new bottles in our background. I don't know why we didn't think of that. Well, I know exactly why. Today was the actual release of it, which means we spent the past 48 hours getting the website, getting pictures, getting bottle shots, cleaning up the bottle shots, cleaning up the pictures, getting everything ready for MailChimp, making sure that we have new banners on social and everything like that going out. So there was a lot of stuff that just goes in to a packaging change. It's not very much fun.
No, it's a lot, but it's worth it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see them start to hit shelves. But if you see any old bottles, they're now worth double, and
that's what
so you should get those vintage bottles.
The vintage bottles. I mean, it's going to be like the old Wild Turkey from 3 years ago, and then 3 years before that, and then 3 years before that.
That's right. It's like when Baker's changed, you know.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I missed that black wax. People will be like, oh, I really missed those crooked neck labels.
That's right.
Now you get to have off-center United labels that are probably coming out in the first release too.
Totally.
We talked about
it silly.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot on an episode of Behind the Pursuit, which launched Wednesday this past week. So if you want to know more about some of the origin and sort of why we call this the year of pursuit and everything we're doing, go and check that out, please. All right. Talking about Frey Ranch, once again, they're celebrating a decade of distilling and 5 generations of agricultural achievements with the launch of a new limited edition whiskey aptly named called the Harvester Series. And this is their 10th anniversary edition. And to commemorate this special milestone, Colby and Ashley Frey, they collaborated with the most renowned palate in whiskey master blender, Miss Nancy Fraley.
The nose.
And they handpicked barrels that perfectly highlight the sustainable and slow-grown grains cultivated and harvested exclusively on the Frey Ranch farm. This is featuring all 5 of the grains grown on site, including non-GMO dent corn, winter wheat, winter rye, barley, and oat. And so this is also known as the first harvest, and it's American whiskey carefully selected and expertly blended from Colby, Ashley, and Nancy. Oh, as well, don't forget Master Distiller Russell Wedlick's. Yeah, he was in there too.
Don't forget Russell.
Anyway, I'm going to skip a little bit.
Russell the palate.
Yes, he is. Russell. You wrestle with Russell's palate here. So we have quite the mash bill here, so stick with me. It is 71.2% winter rye, 9.3% soft white winter wheat, 10.5% of the blend now representing 66.6% corn, 10% wheat, 12% malted barley, 11.4% oat, and 9% of the blend is representing 66% corn, 11.4% rye, and 12% malted barley, and 10% oat. So that's
like a calculus equation.
It's a bunch of stuff they all put together. The end result is 121.14 proof.
It's a 170%. It sounds like.
It all maths up here. An SRP of $250, and only 500 bottles will be available.
10 years. That's a milestone. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember we found them early on, and it was Pat Heist who turned us onto them, right?
Yes, it was. He actually gave us a bottle.
Yeah, he gave us a bottle, and we were like, "This stuff's great." And then we're trying to do the
Lost Lantern model.
Like,
they're like, "Yeah, we don't need you."
And then then I think it was like 2 years ago they actually sold some to Lost Lantern, but we were just too early. We always have good ideas. We're just too early on them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What's the next good one?
I'm out.
Yeah. All right. Well, save those Powerball numbers and let me know after we're done here.
Cherry wine finished.
Cherry wine finish? Okay.
Even though they won't sell me the cherry wine.
Who's cherry wine?
You know, the people that make cherry wine.
I don't know who makes cherry wine. I don't drink cherry wine.
It's a company out of North Carolina. It's like a soda. It's awesome. But I was like, hey, will you sell us the syrup, and we'll finish it in a barrel. We'll send you the syrup back, and then we'll put bourbon in. And they're like, nah. And I was like, okay.
You should.
But I bet in 3 years, Last Lantern will get that.
Look at that. That, or you need to change your domain name to like Diageo or to Heaven Hill or something like that. Yeah. They might pay attention at that point. Well, we'll have to work with Ale 8 then.
Well, I think I tried them too.
Okay. All right. All right. If anybody works for a soda company out there, hit us up. We have ideas.
We'll execute them.
Maybe. I'll turn it down. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's keep going. Chattanooga, they're releasing their latest bottled and bond vintage series. This is Spring 21, and it's barreled from January 2021 through June 2021. And this has a new roasted mash bill known as Barrel 78, and that's named after the 78th barrel filled at the company's experimental distillery. And this 5-grain mash bill contains a Belgian-made chocolate malted barley, double roasted caramel malted barley, and a cherry wood smoked malted barley. And that's used as 20% of the overall blend. It does contain 3 unique mash bills, 50%, which actually comes from their fan favorite, which is a wheated mash bill. Go figure.
Go figure.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be limited and available for $53.
Sounds good. That's all I got.
Yeah, we'll get to it. I'm sure they keep sending us stuff. They keep having all kinds of stuff. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, they have a lot of experimentation. That's right. And I'm surprised there's no Milo and Green press releases.
Not today.
Not today.
Maybe next week. We'll see though. All right, so two and a half more. We'll call it that. Green River is proud to be the official whiskey of the U.S. Army. And in celebration of the organization's 250th anniversary this year, on June 14th, the distillery will release a limited edition commemorative Kentucky Straight Bourbon expression that celebrates the enduring strength and spirit of our country service members. It's bottled at quote-unquote Army Strong, which is 111.1 proof, and that's in honor of Veterans Day, which happens on November 11th.
Makes sense.
How do you become the official whiskey of the U.S. Army? What general do you have to call?
I think you just have to give it away, basically.
Yes, at that point.
Yeah.
You're going to send a message to Doge, be like, hey, I got a way for you to make some money.
Yeah.
We're going to start
sell this booze.
Yeah, we'll become the official whiskey of, I don't know. Let's find some other department inside of the U.S. government that needs a sponsor.
Yeah.
To be fair, that would be a way to, it's not a good way. It's not, by the way, don't listen to this. But if the government needs more money, yeah, you just do like what football stadiums do, right? You just start bringing on corporate sponsors and you just name it after them.
We'll get the IRS for ours.
Every single time you get a phone call.
Since we pay them enough money, excise tax dollars, we're like, we're already the official. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Cecil, this is the Internal Revenue Service, sponsored by Pursuit Spirits. We'd like to talk to you today about...
Wait a minute. I thought we were officials. You shouldn't be auditing me.
All right. We have 2 more here. Like I said, maybe 1.5. It's all Heaven Hill. It's all Heaven Hill at the end of the day here. So they are announcing the latest in their Family Farms First, which is an initiative to dedicate support of family-owned farms in partnership with a nonprofit organization of farm rescue. And this milestone coincides with the release of the highly anticipated second edition of Heaven Hill's Grain to Glass Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Each annual edition of Heaven Hill Grain to Glass features a unique corn seed varietal chosen in collaboration with Beck's hybrids to grow well in the soils of central Kentucky. The 2025 release features corn seed varietals of Beck's 6225. If you're, playing bingo and be like, hell yeah, that was my grain. And that was grown by family-owned Peterson Farms.
Oh, yeah.
You know George Peterson? I'm sorry, I had to say.
Rooney.
You do get some old movie references.
I watched Ferris Bueller.
There you go. All right. Anyway, that's on one of two sites in Nelson County. So this is made up of 52% corn, 35% rye, 13% malt, aged for 6 years at Heaven Hill's Cox's Creek Rickhouse site, non-chill filtered, bottled at barrel strength, and it's 105 proof. They did not put a SRP on here, but if it's like all the other ones, I think it was about $100 a bottle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful packaging.
Beautiful packaging. We didn't, the first three that we got, I will say I wasn't the biggest fan of them.
The weeded one was okay. The other ones were kind of, just wanted something more out of them.
Kind of crafty.
Yeah. They weren't crafty. They were just kind of, I don't know. They were just okay.
Okay. There we go.
They weren't bad, but I was like, I don't know, expected more out of them.
Well, Heaven Hill has a very high bar, and it's,
they do.
It is kind of interesting. We should probably save this for a different discussion. It is kind of interesting that they would take this sort of pivot and try to be more of this, grain to glass craft brand, creating another offshoot when they have all these powerhouse brands that necessarily, like, they have enough stock in whiskey to be able to create that. So why create something that may not live up to the expectation that you already get out of your mainstay brands that are rock solid every single time?
Well, they got to keep, I don't know, as we've seen, whiskey consumers always want to try what's next.
They want to try what's next.
So you got to have something, what's next. So
yeah, it's tough though. It's like you put in a lot of effort and time and dollars to creating some new barrels and new stuff. And if it doesn't work out, the good thing is they're big enough that they can absorb it. But hey, they said, we're going to go ahead and, I shouldn't say that. They probably, I wouldn't say they dump, but they probably blend out a lot of barrels that just don't cut the mustard.
Yeah.
That's what gets into Evan Williams.
Evan Williams Black, baby.
Yeah. So if you want to know
the rejects go,
with those 20 plus year Elijah Craig barrels that just smell too musty, that's where they go.
Totally.
True story, y'all. All right, and the last one here is that Heaven Hill has announced the release of its spring 2025 edition of the Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond Decanter Series. This year, it is a 9-year-old, and it's going to be available for $130.
Sounds tasty.
Love the packaging. Love everything about it.
Yeah, and when's their new, 7-year Bottled and Bond come out?
I don't know. Are we supposed to know about that?
I don't know. I've seen it all over the internet.
Yeah, I know. People have been posting it on Facebook and stuff. So it is coming, at least that's what it looks like, is that there is a new package design for the Old Fitzgerald, but I don't know if I think the Bottled and Bond Decanter Series is probably
going to stay. I think this is just more of a mainstay to be like Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond.
More ways to push us little guys off the shelf,
right.
right? That's all I read when I hear that.
Right next to Grain and Glass.
Yep, exactly. Well, they got a lot of whiskey. Go sell it overseas. Go get the India and China. Have them start drinking Heaven Hill.
That's right.
Yeah, because we
need space.
We'll all follow your suit. You just got to make it happen.
Do it.
That is our This Week in Bourbon for May 9th, 2025, in the year of our Lord. So
happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep, Sunday.
Oh, man. Oh, did you make brunch plans or anything? And by the way, I guess a good question for you, and sorry for me that we're running on here. My wife hates Mother's Day now because Mother's Day is not her Mother's Day anymore. It is now my mother's or her Mother's Day,
yeah.
And she doesn't really get to celebrate Mother's Day, so she hates it. So what about your wife? What does Tiffany think?
I mean, typically we have so many sports going on. It's like
she doesn't get to celebrate,
so she gets to celebrate by being a mom. So
it's the exact opposite of Father's Day when it's like, just leave me alone. Let me sleep on the couch.
Exactly. Let me golf. Let me just drink beer on my couch.
Let me celebrate Father's Day by not being with my family.
100%.
All right. That is it. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Toodles.